Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow Weekend Edition, your one place for anything and everything to do with entrepreneurs. I'm Sunanda Jayaseelan. On tonight's show, we're bringing you our very special series, Dubai Eye, focusing on entrepreneurs and innovation coming out of the Dubai UAE market. Our entrepreneur today is from Neutral Fuels. We're also in conversation with Global Logic. Tonight's entrepreneur on this special series called Dubai Eye is joining us from Neutral Fuels. Karen is joining us with this interview. Karen, over to you. What's exciting as we're speaking, not just for Neutral Fuels, but for the Dubai UAE market? How are things looking on the ground? What could you tell us?
Hi Sunanda. The UAE is the first country in the Middle East to set its own standard for biofuel. Nutrifuels is the first biorefinery in the country to pioneer 100% pure European compliant biofuel made from used cooking oil to use in buses, cars, trucks and generators. Earlier, I talked to Karl Feilder, founder and CEO of the company, who is also a sustainability advocate and serial entrepreneur. Here's what he had to say about the growing industry. The market for biofuels and neutral fuels has expanded dramatically over the last 10 years. What are the factors that have contributed to this growth and how have you capitalised on them?
Well, it's taken a long time to get here, I have to say, although some people have been looking forwards to the advent of biofuels in the Middle East for quite a long time, more than 10 years. But really what's happened is the international community has started to drive the adoption of biofuels. It's now part of some companies' corporate policy that they have to be running on biofuels. And that has trickled down into the multinational companies here. We've seen the adoption also by the local fuel companies of starting to sell our fuel into the local market. And that's driven widespread adoption.
You have a presence in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, New Delhi, Bahrain and Singapore. What other markets are you looking to expand into?
We think that within the next few years, probably 5 years, we think that in the next 5 years we can roll out to 50 cities. Our intention is to get to 20 by the end of next year. It's pushing it, but I think we can probably do it. And then to get through the IPO, we should be able to get out to 50 locations.
In India, you achieved a biofuel first when cottonseed acid oil was converted into biodiesel. How is this changing the dynamics of renewable energy in India?
One of the real challenges with biofuels is getting the right quantity of raw materials. And if we all start with only one raw material, then we're going to be limited in the amount of production that we can make. So we've looked at a wider range of raw materials, and this cottonseed acid oil is something that's not edible. It's a waste stream. It's therefore cheaper in the market, but it's also really difficult to process. And so we've come up with a really unique way of processing it that doesn't require much energy and still produces a first-class product at the end of the day.
Coming back to Dubai now, how is Nutrifuels contributing to the green economy here in Dubai, and what will you be bringing to Expo?
Well, Dubai's been our home for 10 years, and we've been out to the schools, out to the universities. We've had more than 50 students come through here on internships. I've been out into schools, we've done chemistry experiments with schools, we've talked to business clubs at schools, we've helped fuel the school buses, and we've gone out through the economy into the various parts of Dubai government to show them what biofuels actually can do for them. In terms of where we're going with Expo, this last weekend we just rolled out the starting point of that, which is oil collection for all of the pavilions within Expo, and all of the oil from all of the cooking at Expo is going to be recycled in Dubai and we're going to put that back into the trucks that drive around collecting the waste at night. So it's a completely closed loop, but operating within Expo.
What more can business leaders and governments do to decarbonise our society?
The real challenge about decarbonisation is that it isn't you and I, and it isn't the governments that are driving it. The world carbon footprint has been created by companies, by corporate decisions, making the decision to make their product here, to sell it there, and to move it around the world in different ways. What we need to do is to get corporates to have a low carbon or even net zero agenda and to implement that through their normal strategies. We've proven in the last 15 years that we can do that and make more profit. So that's what we need corporates to do, and what we need individuals to do who work for those corporates is to push their companies. Ask them, where's your net zero strategy? When are we implementing it by? How can I help?
What initiatives do you have to help organisations monitor and track their carbon footprint?
Well, I spent the first half of my career in the IT industry, and we've been using apps and a cloud server and a control room to bring all the data together so that we can actually track what's going on. So we monitor the restaurant oil right the way from the restaurant cooking through our production process to the individual trucks that are running our fuel. And then our goal is to help them use less fuel. We're a fuel company that wants to sell less fuel to each individual customer because then they're being more efficient. So we do that with apps, with looking at the way that they drive and giving them positive feedback so that they can improve their fuel economy.
How has the finance and investment landscape changed over the last few years with respect to this industry?
It's been really hard. I have to say that raising money has always been difficult for startup companies, for small businesses that are growing. For multinational small businesses, it's really tricky. But what we've seen is the rise of what they call ESG awareness, and that has led to a lot of financial institutions dedicating a portion of their investment portfolio into ESG bonds, equity, other types of investments. So we listed our own green bond on the stock exchange in Frankfurt a few years ago. And that's allowed people to invest into our business, get a good rate of return, but also provide us with the finance we need in order to roll out to all of these cities.
And lastly, what is the outlook for the future of this industry?
I think we're going to see some changes in Northern America and in Europe, where they're finally going to realize that they can't plunder the rest of the world for raw materials, because those raw materials can be processed locally into fuel that's used locally. The local model is going to take dominance over the next 10 years, and you're going to see a lot more businesses with a lot more presence in local cities producing from local waste into local energy. And I think that's going to dramatically change the world.
There remains plenty of untapped potential in the UAE's renewable energy space, which companies like Nutrifuels have capitalised on. The future of this industry looks promising as the UAE continues its focus on the green economy and green technology. Back to you, Sananda.
All right, Karen, thanks very much for that. And we are going to be going back to Karen and going back to our team in Dubai as we continue bringing you the most innovative entrepreneurs out of the Dubai UAE market. For now, though, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Sumit Sood of Global Logic joining us here live on the show to talk about all the things which are exciting in the company as we speak. We're back in just a moment. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. With us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, our second conversation we're doing tonight is with Global Logic. Group Vice President, Head of APAC at Global Logic, joining us. Sumit, good having you back with us here on the show. I remember speaking with you a few years earlier when we were doing a series on India's most innovative companies. So good having you back. I want to talk about the big announcement that we heard not too long ago. Just fill us in on how things have been since then, what the announcement has meant for you personally, professionally, how have things been?
So this is one of the most landmark deals that has happened in the last few years, or I would say last forever in the tech sector. And if you look at it, it is also one of those large deals that has happened between an operating technology company and an information technology company. Otherwise, the deals in the past have been more technology companies, getting together and trying to create larger synergies or complementary offerings. In this case, this is a perfect amalgamation of brick and mortar technology, operating technology, as Hitachi calls it, which is power, rail, mobility, etc., with digital transformation that Global Logic brings to the table, combined with the existing IT work that Hitachi was already doing. So it's a perfect blend of OT, IT, and digital. And we believe that together, a combination of these three services, we have a fantastic opportunity to create social impact across the world. And that really was the driving force behind this whole deal. It was, that there's such great synergy and complementary offerings. Hitachi has social impact very, very high on its agenda. And this deal just helps round up the whole equation.
Sumit, I want to understand, was there one, sort of big aha moment to say that, this was the right price, this was the right time? How does it really work when you are considering something like this, when you're considering an M&A move? Is there something in the background that was going on that you could talk to us about and use it as advice perhaps for an entrepreneur to say, this is what you could do, this is how you could keep things in mind?
So look, again, from all parameters, right? Whether it is the time, the price, etc. I do believe that this was a good time. COVID added or acted as a catalyst in the whole situation. Look, with COVID world over, we are seeing that digital transformation has suddenly accelerated, right? There are memes going around in the internet that who did your digital transformation? Was it your CEO officer of this category, or was it COVID-19? Laughing matters put aside, it did act as a catalyst on putting a lot of enterprises worldwide on a accelerated transformation roadmap. From that perspective, the timing of this deal could not have been better. A perfect time for Hitachi to take a leapfrog, to set the tone for how the industry is going to shape up. And same thing from a price perspective. Look, a lot of people have looked at and said, hey, is this the right price tag? Was it too less? Was it too high? Time will tell. Right, as far as all of us together in the Global Logic Hitachi ecosystem see and believe things, we are on the inside of the industry. We are on the inside of the transformation that's taking place all around us. We believe that this was a perfect deal from all angles, from timing, from cost/price, and from the synergies that we could together bring out to the world.
To me, the digital engineering has grown so much of late. What's really helping propel this market? What insights could you give us? What kind of growth are we perhaps looking at? What are the big opportunities? What are the big challenges? What can you tell us?
Look, this segment has been one of the fastest growing segments for a while now, right? Engineering services has been growing much faster than IT services for the last 3, 4, 5 years, to be honest, right? And that growth is only accelerating. What used to be, what the IT services world used to call as smack technologies in the past have become now passe. They are no longer the new thing that everybody is doing. That has been replaced with dark, right? Digital ledgers, artificial intelligence, augmented and virtual reality, and quantum computing. The pace of technology innovation and change is accelerating on a day-by-day basis. I would say not even a day-by-day, on an hour-by-hour basis. With that acceleration, and with the opportunity that these technologies offer to humankind to alter how we move forward, be it with climate change, be it with poverty and global hunger, we believe again that this is something that will only continue to gather more and more pace. We don't see it stopping. I'll give you a simple example. We don't have a food problem in the world today. but we do have a distribution problem. The number of calories that this planet produces on a daily basis is far more than what is needed to feed every human on the planet. But yet, there are challenges of predicting demand, distributing it, storing it, etc., etc. And that's where digital technologies can do a lot in helping get past those problems. So yeah, this change I only see accelerating more and more.
So you work with companies across the spectrum, whether it is Volvo from the auto space or Google, on the other hand. My question is, given that you are so closely aligned with so many different industries, which of these industries perhaps are some of the biggest adopters when it comes to using design engineering? And, why is that? How can perhaps more industries also start using design engineering?
All of them. Today, look, today you if you take the automotive sector as an example, 50 to 60% of the value of the car is beginning to happen with the software, right? If you look at electric vehicles, it's even more. So to be able to say that there is any particular sector that is adopting technology faster than the others, no. I mean, all sectors are equally rapid. Yes, the inherently technology-driven companies or platforms are much faster to adopt, just for the simple reason that they are born with technology as their bedrock, instead of a brick and mortar driven business model, and hence they are faster adopters within their individual sectors. But from a sector perspective, you can't distinguish one from the other. All sectors are equally advanced. It's a question of what stage companies are the ones adopting technology faster.
Whenever one talks about M&A, we have to, of course, talk about people, and this is, the people that you employ, the people that you hire. My question really to you, Sumit, is there the availability of skilled manpower, given especially that yours is in such a highly skilled technical area? Do you feel there are enough people when it comes to doing the kind of work that you do?
Oh, absolutely, yes. So look, we anyways organically itself, Global Logic is on a 20-25% growth path for the past few years. We don't see that growth slowing down. We see that growth only accelerating. Now that's what we are doing, as a provider in the market itself. Now you start to bolt on things that Hitachi and Global Logic could be doing together, either for helping build new product lines within Hitachi, or for helping Hitachi take newer value propositions out to their existing clients, or for GL to pick up some of the Hitachi capabilities and take them out to our existing clients. Again, what we see that is as a significant positive delta to the 20-25% growth rate that we are already carrying organically. We can be doing a significantly bigger chunk than that as time goes on.
Speaking of the pandemic, Sumit, the focus is now more than ever before has been on carbon footprint and the impact that companies have on the environment and how they're bringing down or reducing really their carbon footprint. What are you doing at Global Logic? What is Hitachi doing through the work that they do? What can you tell us?
Sure. Oh, absolutely. I'll start with, look, Hitachi has again, the ESG agenda is very, very high on Hitachi's priority list, right? So from that perspective, this was a very good, how do I say it, meeting of the minds. If you look at GL, I will again take you back to the pre-COVID era. If you go back to 2018-19 timeframes as an example, we had already taken steps to eliminate all single-use plastic from our offices. We'd already taken steps to reduce the amount of paper that got consumed in our office by 60 to 70%. We had already replaced all chemical-based cleansers with soap, natural soap and lime-based solutions, right? We had reduced our water wastage that was happening. We had significantly reduced our electricity by changing the design of all of the new offices that we were building, with having provisions for more and more natural light, etc. So from that perspective, this is an agenda that was already in execution at GL. This is an agenda item that is very, very high on the priority list with Hitachi as well.
Speaking of design engineering, we're running out of time in this interview, but I want to try and, squeeze in some additional questions. There are a lot of international players, not so many, homegrown, homebred companies. Why is that? How do you see that perhaps changing? I would love to get your thoughts on this.
So look, the whole engineering and R&D services space we believe is going to continue to be the bellwether for the future, right? We believe, look, with more and more technology changes, more and more technology revolution, the sort of skills that are required in the marketplace are more and more leaning towards, as I said, on the dark technologies as an example, right? So there are tons and tons of Indian startups now that are operating in this space, whether they are operating with point solutions or whether they are operating with a significant breadth and depth of capability like Global Logic. There are lots of Indian firms that are doing that. The traditional Indian IT services companies are significantly bolting up their own engineering and R&D capability. So the opportunity size or basket on this at this point in time is significantly large for multiple players to emerge and play a significant role in it, either from a growth perspective or from an impact perspective. So if I look at the Indian startup ecosystem, there are lots of very interesting companies that are trying to do things. Lots of them are making good impact, good waves, whether it is in point solutions around cloud as an example or around AI. And a lot of them are actually diversifying and saying, how do we become a very broad-based engineering and R&D services provider? So again, phenomenal opportunity. I think this does not slow down for the next couple of decades for sure, because this is the set of technologies that would help us work through climate change. This is the set of technologies that would help us work through the global security concerns. And this is a set of technologies that would possibly help us work through the global poverty or food distribution concerns, etc. as well. So tremendous impact, tremendous opportunity, and lots of headroom for lots and lots of companies to mushroom and grow.
All right, Sumit, thanks so much for your time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Completely out of time. Then on the Leaders of Tomorrow Weekend Edition, if you have any feedback for us, any questions at all, our contact details coming up on the screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.